Look at that! That is y equals to x cubed, undoubtedly. I have an issue. I suck at drawing graphs. And for someone who really likes math, that's kind of a problem. But you know what doesn't suck at drawing graphs? Desmos. So I'm gonna try to build desmos for my whiteboard. Let's go. I have a bunch of ideas for this project, and to figure out which one's the best, I've devised 3 simple metrics. Number 1, it should be easy to build. Number 2, it should be easy to code. And number 3, it should be easy to implement. My first idea is to have 2 rails for the marker to move on, one controlling the x-axis and one controlling the y-axis. This is kind of hard to build as it requires a full rail system, so 4 out of 10. But it is very easy to code as we can just have it move from one side to the other, and as it does so, plot out the function. 9 out of 10. For implementation, this is the most difficult as rails are heavy and I don't want to break my wall trying to keep this thing up. 2 out of 10. So grand total of 15 out of 30. Let's look at the next idea. This idea is a robot that sticks to my whiteboard and draws out the graph as it moves along. For how easy it is to build, this is really easy as it's just a marker on wheels, 9 out of 10. It is kind of hard to program because we have to convert a graph to a path for the robot to follow without a coordinate/positioning system to reference, so 4 out of 10. And finally, it is kind of hard to implement as I have no way for anything to stably stick to my whiteboard while moving. The magnets do kinda suck, 3 out of 10. That brings a total of 16 out of 30. This is slightly better, but I think we can do much better. My final idea is a marker that attaches to 4 motors positioned at each corner, which tighten or loosen to move the marker around. To build, this is fairly easy as it just requires 4 motors stick to my wall, 8 out of 10. To code, this is kind of difficult as we have to convert the points on the graph to distances from each corner, so 6 out of 10. And to implement, it's not too bad as I can just stick the motors to my wall with some tape and take it off just as easily, 8 out of 10. So a final score of 22 out of 30. Now we're talking. Okay, so we are once again back at this lovely whiteboard. And this is just so that I can actually draw out this. I think I can do better to explain how I'm gonna actually build this. So I don't want to put a motor on each corner. And the reason is the wiring is just going to be very difficult because I need wires going to each corner. So the idea is if this was my whiteboard, I have all 4 motors over here. So in this case, it would be right here. All 4 motors lined up with the strings attached. The way it's going to work is I'm going to have a pulley system on each corner. And basically, let's say for this motor will be this corner. It'll move the string up and it'll wrap it around and attach to the marker. This motor would be this bottom corner, go up, attach there. This one, go around, go all the way around. And you'll see, by doing this, I get the same thing, right? It's still the same principle. It's just now that all the motors are in the same place, it's really easy to wire. So this would be my Arduino, I'll put AR, and this connects to all 4 motors. Now the thing is, I don't have the motors yet. I have some DC motors, but they kind of suck for this thing because I want precision movement. I need to buy what is called a stepper motor. So I'm gonna purchase that today and then see if it comes soon. But for now, what we're going to design is I'm gonna see if I can design the 4 pulley corners because all these are just the pulley system, like a little wheel on each corner to wrap the string around. And I'm gonna design the main thing that actually holds the marker. And one thing I gotta keep in mind is I gotta make sure there's enough pressure to actually push the marker against the whiteboard. So yeah, let's get to work on this piece first. Okay, so I've made a pretty simple design. Basically, it's just a center hole for the marker to actually slot into. I measured this and I made it a little bit smaller because you can see it kind of tapers off, or not tapers off, the radius decreases as it goes down. So I hope I can just slot it in. It doesn't go all the way through, but it sticks nicely. And I added 4 holes. These are for the four strings to attach to each corner. So I'm gonna print this and I'm also gonna design the wheel thing for the strings to wrap around. But yeah, let me design the other thing and then we can print them together. Okay, so I just finished designing the wheel pulley system. So I'm gonna print 4 of these, 5 of these actually, 1 for each corner. Except for if you remember, the top right corner requires 2 pulleys because it needs to go around the bottom right and then through the top right, if you remember. So we need 5 of these, and then I'll also print the marker holder. And then hopefully we can implement it, and then I'll buy the motors and we can get this done in a couple days. Okay, so we have this one. I'm hoping it fits nice and snug, because otherwise I'll have to reprint it. But yeah, you see, look, that fits really well, I think. So it's just gonna be like this with the strings attached on each corner. So this is one of them. We need 4 more of these, so let's print those 4. Yeah, but it seems pretty good right now. What we're gonna do when we're finished printing them is we're gonna put them on each of the corners. Let's print 4 more of these. Okay, so we got all 4. Let's tape them to the whiteboard. Seems pretty solid. And then now we get the other 4. Okay, that seems pretty good. They should be easy to rip off, right? Yeah, not that hard to rip off. That's good. Seems good so far. I'm gonna erase this, take everything off, and then we are going to put the actual marker on and see if it works. Pray that it actually does work. Okay, 1 piece of string done. Isn't that neat? I can control, or I can't really control much with 2, but you can already see I can move it right, I can move it left, and all I'm doing is just changing how much slack I give it and how much I pull back. If I add 2 more, the idea is I can control now all 4 axes. So this is gonna be pretty cool. So let me do the other 2. Okay, so now I got 3 of them. I just wanna know. A little more slack here. See, now I get it down here. Oopsie, now I can bring it up there. There's a lot more. This is so stupid. I have a lot more control with 1 more. And I think the 4th one is going to give me the most control. Okay. That's the 4th one. There we go. Okay. Let me tape these strings together, or tape these strings down somewhere so that they don't fly away. Okay. So here's the system I have to make sure it doesn't. I just have it wrapped around this doorknob, and it's holding by friction. There's nothing actually tied or anything, but it should work. Okay. Finally, that took like an hour. So I need to go eat dinner, and then I'm gonna order the motors, and then when they come, it will be awesome. Let's go. Okay, so it is the Friday, and this is when I predicted it would arrive. And look, we got it. I actually faked this. This arrived yesterday, but yesterday I got home at 10, so I didn't really have a chance to see it, but see, it's already open and such. I didn't look at it at all. What I'm gonna do now, because it's 4 stepper motors, what it is. So let's just go here for a second. 4 stepper motors. Look at that. 4 stepper motors. Let's go unbox this, and then I need to learn how to use these. I need to design a mount for this, or a fit for this, that I can actually put the string on. So the idea is that I will thread the rope through this, which is like a 3mm diameter hole, and then on the inside I'll tie a knot so that it doesn't come back through, so that it wraps around. That's the idea. I'm gonna print this out, time lapse that you guys get to see. It's gonna be pretty fun, and then let's see if we can get it done today. This needs to fit to the motor. Okay, so it is a bit of a tight fit, but I can just squeeze it on. Okay, so it's a bit weird. It's on. Not that perfect, but it'll do. Okay, so I have my hot glue gun heating. The idea is we're gonna attach each of those strings to one of these. Okay, awesome. See, now I have all 3. The 4th one I'll actually attach to the motor, but all 3 are dangling, so that should weigh it down. So let's zoom in. You can see that's attached, that's attached, that's attached, everything's attached. Tomorrow and over the course of the next few days, let's code this, get all the motors working, and then hopefully we finish this. But yeah, that's enough for day 3 of this project. Technically it's been a week already. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, it's day 2. I just finished measuring everything. Basically, how this is working to scale it properly to my whiteboard is we have 2048. That's how many steps in the motor, and then we have 100 divided by pi. Here's how the math works. Like I said, 2048 is the amount of steps in a full rotation. 100 centimeters is the length of the whiteboard, and pi is the circumference of the reel. 100 divided by pi tells us how many full rotations are needed to go from one end of the whiteboard to another. Finally, multiply that number by 2048 so the motor knows how many steps it needs to take. We're trying to get it just to plot a really simple graph. So in this case, we're trying to plot it y equals to negative x. And if you know, that looks like this. This one might plot it a bit weirdly, but I just want to see that it's going in the same direction. And we're only using the top 2 because my Arduino doesn't have enough for all 4. So let us begin. I have the code ready. Okay, see it's slowly starting to move. I know it cut off midway, but this is the final line that it drew. You can kind of see it's going the right way. I think it's wonky because we're only using 2 motors. It's not as precise as it would be. You'll notice the zigzags. The reason why there are zigzags is because it first moves the bottom one and then it pulls the top. It first moves the left one and then it moves the right one, and that creates the zigzag pattern. This was supposed to be y equals to negative x. Now we're gonna see if we can plot y equals to x, which it goes this way. I think we've reached the end. Even though the program wants it to keep going, but we've reached the end, so I'm gonna unplug it. Just zoom in on that. Look at that beautiful line. So at the start, it moved down because it's loosening this one first, and it loosens this one, so it moves there, and it just starts going up. Everything's a bit offset though. Like you can see, it starts here as opposed to here, and I think that's why we ended off with some extra room. But look at that. Look at that beautiful line. I think this is awesome. So let me see if I can get 3 motors set up. Because with 3 motors, we can be even better. This is so cool. I have all 3 motors set up perfectly. Like they're all organized, all plugged in. This took a second. So yeah, now let's put this in and see if we can get it to plot y equals to x better. So let's see if we can get this to work. All 3 motors are wound properly. So far, so good. Isn't that cool? Wasn't that cool? Look at that line. That's like almost straight. The top wobble part, that's my fault. I think we should try a more difficult function. I think we should try a quadratic, a parabola. Y equals x squared. That looks like this. I think we should try that. I think that would be sick. Now let's wind it properly. Upload the code. Here's the issue. That is not a parabola, and the reason why it's so ugly is that when the motor wants to loosen the string and give it some slack, it doesn't actually move the marker. It just unwinds itself, making it useless. Okay, to solve this issue of there being slack in this line, what I think I need to do is for the 4th one, which we're not using, I pull on that. I always put that in tension so that there's all of these ropes are constantly in tension. Because if they're not in tension, then it's not working. But the way I need to do that then is I can't have my one hand holding all 3. It's just too janky. I'm thinking I design something and I just create like a little frame to hold all 3. And then I can use my hands, which are now going to be free, to control that one. So let's design a frame. Okay, really simple design. 3 brackets. Perfect for this. Just slot it in. Let's print this. Meanwhile, I will do some homework. Here are my 6 screws. Okay, so we got the first motor in. A little wobbly, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Last motor. There we go, all 3 motors. Now I'm going to tape it to the wall. 1 long strip of tape. There we go. All 3 motors are now attached to the wall. Now let's try to plot a parabola. Okay, ready? Why? Why? Let me just fix it right now. Okay. I think this is good. That is amazing. Even though like this little mishap, I think sometimes like it's so intention that the motors aren't strong enough to pull it, and that's why these things keep popping off because there's too much force. But like, it's a parabola. Like, tell me you don't see this beautiful parabola. Oh, this view down up. That is a parabola. Tell me that is not a parabola. This is amazing. So, all that effort was not for nothing. There is actually... Okay, that's not good. But that's cool though. Isn't that cool? Okay, I've stuck it back on. This parabola is amazing. I think we can do it one better. Let's plot cosine. And what that should look like is this. Hopefully this works. Hi guys. You guys ready? That is cool. That is cool. That is so cool. Like, look, it's kind of like the S. You see, it gets really sharp here. It kind of had a little mix up here where the strings were way too tight. But like, look, it starts off like flat and then goes a bit sharper and then goes flat again. That's cosine. That's what, oh my god, this is so cool. And then I think let's try to plot x cubed. So if you guys don't know x cubed, it looks like this. Let's try to plot x cubed now. Now let's put in the function. Around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. Okay. Look at that. That is y equals to x cubed. Undoubtedly. That is y equals to x cubed. Made by this clanker. None, I did nothing. This clanker plotted y equals to x cubed. Oh my god. This is absolutely amazing. This is the best day of my life. That is phenomenal. Okay. So, oh, why is it not focusing? So we've done x squared. We've done linear functions, that's easy. We've done cosine. We've done x cubed. Are there any other good functions I don't know of? Honestly, I think these 3 functions, I'm so happy. Like, this is amazing. This is phenomenal. We already plotted 3 of the functions I wanted to plot. A parabola, a wave, and, well, a cubic function. So this is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you guys so much for watching.